Hey ninjas, welcome back. Today we are going to learn about promises in JavaScript. In JavaScript, a promise is an object that represents a value which will be available later, in the future. There are two roles here. Producing code. The code that takes time, like fetching data, waiting for a timer, reading a file. Consuming code. The code that needs the result but must wait for it. A promise connects the producing code with the consuming code. And a promise can be in one of three states: pending, fulfilled, and rejected. While a promise object is pending, the result is undefined. When a promise object is fulfilled, the result is a value. When a promise object is rejected, the result is an error object. And we create promises objects simply by writing new promise. Inside, we pass a function with two parameters. MyResolve sends a value from the producing code to whoever is waiting for the result. MyReject sends an error from the producing code to whoever is waiting for a failure. This part is called the producing code. It does the work and eventually calls either MyResolve or MyReject. Now, on the consuming side. When the task finishes successfully, then runs and receives the result from MyResolve. And when the task fails, catch runs and receives the error from MyReject. Now, ninjas, let me first give you an overall idea of how we write and use promises, and then I'll explain the full example in detail. So here, first, we write the producing code. This is the part that does some work that might take time, like fetching data or waiting for something. Then, to handle the result, we write the consuming code just below the producing code. This is how we deal with the outcome. This is basically how promises work. We produce a result, then attach handlers to manage success or failure. Now, let me explain this example in full so you can see exactly how it works. Here in this example, we set error equals true. The if checks, since error is true, the code calls MyReject, something went wrong. That means the promise is rejected. On the consuming side, .catch runs and receives the error handle error, something went wrong, runs. And if we set error equals false, then the work is successful. The producing code calls MyResolve, work finished successfully. This resolves the promise, so then runs. So this is how we use promises. And we can also create promise chaining. Promise chaining means connecting multiple then calls one after another, where each then receives the result of the previous one. This is useful when you need to perform multiple asynchronous tasks in sequence, where the output of one is the input of the next. Now, let me show you an example for clarity. Here in this example, first, we created a promise, order food. If the restaurant is open. Resolve runs, and the success messages flow into then. If the restaurant is closed. Reject runs, and catch handles the error. Each then represents the next step in the process: order, cooking, delivery, final. So in this way, promise chaining helps our code run step by step in a clean order, without using confusing nested callbacks. That's what we call callback hell. It's very useful when handling tasks that take some time, like loading data or fetching information from a server. So ninjas, this was all about promises. Now head to JavaScript Ninjas and practice this 5 simple question until you feel comfortable with it. Now see you in the next lesson.